she wants to make me, she wants to start our reaction to movies with the Lord of the Rings first part, which is her favorite movie. And the movie that I have actually watched a few years back and didn't like
she knows
that
nothing.
much.
She literally remembers nothing.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm not so excited about watching Lord of the Rings, because like
I just thought she watched it in a bad time. There's no way. Because like she hasn't watched Return of the King, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, we need to watch that.
That's what ties it all
I'm
together.
trying to make that happen.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Reactorverse podcast hosted by Passionfruit. I am your host, Neurochronic. I'm here with two people who I have followed from the beginning of their reaction journey, actually. It's kind of a surreal experience to be able to talk with them one-on-one in this setting right now because so the novelty of this thing is that I've met a handful of dozen channels at this point that I've gotten to know personally very well, but these two are a channel that I actually found day one with their first video, and I'm excited to have them here today.
Really?
Which one?
Yes.
The Walking Dead?
They are the L and M of the LM Reaction channel, Lola and Milena. Thank you for being here.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, like I said, I've been a fan since day one because we'll get into like the sort of logic behind how that happened. But long story short, I found your first ever video like the day that you posted it. Because
really? The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead, because
season 7.
Yeah, because it was a big episode, I think, as everyone knows.
Yeah, it was a
fans and
episode.
non-fans too. And yeah, since then I saw your channel, I saw your reaction kind of like in the mix of like tons of reactions that were coming out for that episode. And I just remember watching it and thinking like, okay, these two are gonna go places, so to speak, with their channel, like really. And yeah, I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing our potential so early on.
You saw it before we did.
True. I thought those first videos were rough.
It is for everyone. Don't worry. Everyone starts somewhere, and you had at least comparatively the ability to have the picture in the corner, which a handful of channels that are really big now started with like nothing in the corner. They were just watching like a blank space around them. Yeah, so everyone learns along the way. That's the the goal of like refining your craft along the way.
Interesting.
But yeah, I want to go back to the beginning before we even get to that point of the start of the channel, which would be you two. I want to ask, like, how did you meet? How did you become friends? And get to this point, I guess.
We went to the same high school, like basically
same class.
Basically in Serbia. I know in America, like you switch classes based on what subjects you have. But like in Serbia, we have like one class.
Yeah.
You have the same like 25 to 30 people with you for 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like we were in the same class.
Yeah.
And so like we met when we were 14, 15. And like we weren't the closest in high school. Like we were friendly, but like we both had our like groups.
Yeah, we liked each other. And the only thing we actually talked about was TV shows.
We bonded on that when we were like first year in high school.
Yeah, something like that. But like afterwards we went to the same college and that's when we became best friends.
Yeah.
I see. What were TV shows, I guess particularly American TV shows or from other countries, part of your normal life growing up in Serbia? Was that easily accessible to you?
Yeah, especially American ones, yeah.
Yes, but also like early on when we were younger, a lot of from South America. Shows from South America
are the most popular.
The telenovelas. And like everyone here knows Spanish to an extent because like it was so popular.
Yeah.
Like I have never learned it and I can like understand most of it.
You can speak.
I can speak, like I can get by, but like that was the most popular. And then like when we were, I don't know, middle school, high school, like American shows were everything. Like like Gossip Girl, One Tree Hill, like everyone kind of grew up on that. I know Prison Break was very popular here as well.
Yeah.
Like those are very important shows. But like that and like shows from South America, very, very popular, and Spain as well.
All right, right. I guess those probably influenced a lot of your sort of sensibilities for the shows, the telenovelas particularly. I know an early stipulation you had when you started the channel was that you told people like don't recommend us like Arrow and that whole that universe. Which in hindsight, personally, it was like kind of a smart move, honestly. It launched a lot of people in for the next 10 years of like just doing work. But were you also exposed to like sort of like the big IPs of like Star Wars, Marvel, DC? Was that something that was that made its way over there as well?
I mean, it is popular here. Like Star Wars, I feel like less, or at least maybe we weren't walking among the group of people who watch Star Wars. But like Marvel is very popular, DC is very popular. I tried. Like I tried so many Marvel movies and like everything was fine. But like at some point everything is kind of the same. Like a hero, a villain, they're like this is, people are gonna disagree with me. But like for me when I was watching it, I was like, well, okay, I get it. And like a million movies with that premise just like didn't interest me that much. And so like, but I did try. It just like wasn't a thing that like suited my personal taste.
Right.
No, honestly, I like it, but like it's not my favorite. But like I enjoy some of them. I love Spider-Man.
Oh my god, she loved Spider-Man. Like with Tom Holland. Like I watched with Tobey Maguire when I was younger.
Right.
Like,
I never watched that one. I watched first with...
I know, with Tom Holland.
But like before... With
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew, I watched with Andrew.
Right,
as well.
right. But
that was it.
It seemed like, you found more of a niche with like the television side of things. And one of the first things I noticed when I found your channel was that... back then when I was trying to learn more about people through the reaction space, I would look through like their playlists of things and their channels and stuff like that. I saw that you had a linked channel, which I believe might still be there, with Lola's name on it, and it had a bunch of fan like edits, shipping fan edits.
We do. I don't think we changed that.
I don't know. I have no idea. Is it there?
I think
might
it
be.
is.
We don't change that very much.
Still might still be there. Yeah. And one of the thumbnails I saw was a picture of Starbuck and Lee from Battlestar Galactica. And that was when I found I was like, okay, I want to keep an eye here because Battlestar Galactica is my favorite show. Yeah, it's my favorite show of all time, and I don't see enough love for it on the internet.
I agree. It's like my top. I don't know. Like that was one of the first shows because like I watched when I was in high school, and it's like really one of the first shows where I was like, oh, this is like about to be a thing that I remember forever. Yeah. Like it's really gonna be my favorite for the rest of my life, basically.
Yeah, and you tried to make me watch it
I
for
tried
like
so long.
At least 5 years, I think. And after 5 years I played it, and honestly, and I was there after first episode.
Yeah. Like because the first episode was honestly so good.
There is a mini series before. It was good, but like then when we played the first episode, I cried.
Yeah,
I cried in the first episode.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite series. I've seen it, I think, 8 times, all the way around with different people. It holds up, in my opinion. It does.
I agree. Like I mean, I want to rewatch it now, and I know people have like things to say about season 4 and everything, but like I just feel a lot of love for it. Like sure, there's flaws and everything, but like I think the heart of the story and like just how it was told, it was for me perfect.
And honestly, all the characters and the relationships that they have with each other.
Yes.
That was my favorite thing about the show.
I agree. Yeah, and the music too as well. Like one of my favorite TV scores ever. And Bear McCreary, the composer, has gone on to be like one of the best composers in TV and film now.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's done so much. He did The Walking Dead. He did like so many other things. Now he's I think he did the new Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Power, as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, he's great. But at that time, you were obviously using YouTube to like share your appreciation for shows that you love and kind of use as an outlet. But at that time, before you started the reaction channel specifically, did you have any other outlets where you could share your sort of experience or your love for like your favorite shows? Were you on any forums? Were you talking to anyone online in any capacity? Or was it just like in person conversations you were having with people?
I was at that point. I think mostly I was using Tumblr. I think I was mostly on Tumblr, and like if I want to find something, then I will just like search it up and like reblog the things, and then like from there, I like joined Twitter, and I didn't know how to use Twitter. It's like it took a bit, but like Twitter is sort of like I started following people, like you mentioned, the like edits of shows. I was like watching a lot of those, and so like for the people who made edits of the shows I like, I would follow them on Twitter, and like to this day, I follow the same like 50 people that I followed before that have like a very similar taste to my taste, and so like when they start watching something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep an eye on that because like. I know I'm gonna probably enjoy it because like they enjoy it. Like I found this group that don't know I exist, but like I follow them and I think their recommendations are good. And so like that's sort of the only place I think where I like keep up with things from shows and everything. I mean, of course, I speak to her most of the time. Because like we do have like a similar taste, so like we're gonna be watching similar things always. But like I think that was it. I can't remember.
I mean, me too.
Tumblr.
I don't think I have ever been on Tumblr.
I think you have, but like very short.
Not short. Later,
yeah.
You made me made it, and like I was there for like a few months.
And that's when Tumblr died.
But I was always on Twitter. Even
I
before, I have a feeling like that was one of my first social medias. Yeah. But like I never wrote anything. I was just reading. Even now,
Right. I was in the same boat for, that's how I learned how to edit. I would watch people's fan edits of like different shows and like, particularly anime, like back in the day when I was in high school. So like I started dabbling that way to like teach myself. And that's how I eventually like built my way up to being a professional editor. But I guess where did the idea then for the reaction channel start? Like, was it a mutual discussion that you both had, or was it the one tell the other about the idea?
Mutual. It was mutual. It was one show that we really loved at the time, and we watched. There was many reaction videos of that show, but like we didn't agree with most of them. So that's why the reason why we wanted to put our opinions.
So we were like, our opinion is the missing one. We're about to say what we think. But no, we spent one summer it was The Walking Dead, and we spent...
But before that, we wanted to start with the 100.
Oh, with the 100, yes.
Yeah, we wanted to start because of the 100, but like, then we were like, the 100, it took a time for the 100 to get out, new season to come out. And then one summer
I forgot.
It was the 100.
I literally forgot that was what we wanted to like talk about first.
Honestly, that was like the main reason why we decided to make a reaction channel. But one summer we watched together like whole 6 seasons of The Walking Dead.
I feel like it took us less than 2 weeks. I don't know. We didn't move. I don't know what we were doing. We were just like, we were so shocked. And then like it was close to season 7 coming out.
It was
and like
a month
at that
before
point,
that.
we were like also searching up for like reaction videos to see when something shocking happened. We were like, well, what do other people think is a shocking thing? And like we knew that the episode was coming and like it was gonna be a big one, and we were like, well, let's like, I don't know, let's give it a try.
But
like,
honestly, I don't think we ever planned.
No, I don't think we put much thought into it.
Like, oh, let's pause this.
Like,
Let's see.
Let's I mean, let's like watch. We can place a camera there to film us. We didn't really put much thought into that. And then we just posted it. And like, did we go to sleep?
We went to sleep and we woke up in the morning and we had 10,000 views.
Something like that.
And that was shocking to us. We were like, what?
Shocking. I was like, what
and
just happened?
It took just like maybe 24 hours and we had like 100,000 views.
Right.
And we were like, okay, we're continuing this. This is fine. Let's continue this.
So basically it was just because like that video blew up. Like I don't know what would have happened if it didn't blow up, because like we didn't come into it being like, oh, we're gonna make a channel, we're gonna start doing this now.
I mean, even when we made a channel, we didn't have a name. We put we literally just name, my last name, and we just uploaded the video.
But basically, when you make a YouTube, it like puts your full name because of Google Plus when it was, I don't know. So it was like Milena's full name, and it was like, well, we have like, there's like 100,000. Let's just like change your name. This doesn't seem safe. So like, let's change it fast. And like, I feel like we were on a bus being like, well, what do we change it to? And we were like very original. Well, I'm Lola, you're Milena. So like, let's just go LM, or does ML sound better? And that was it.
Well, that's a big part of it, because you said you were kind of following reactions via the 100, and then The Walking Dead you got into it on your own. So I believe there weren't any like specific channels that you were following like as individuals. You were just kind of like following the fandom behind it. And that's funny, because that's what happened. That's how I actually found a lot of channels I know now, which was that when The Walking Dead came out, it was such a huge catalyst for like helping so many channels flourish. Like people started with it, people dedicated their whole channels to it. It was like a really huge show for reactions. And so when I started getting into the sort of community around it, I found it through Walking Dead, which is how I found your channel and so many others. And so for when the season 7 premiere came out, for the big scene with Negan and everything, everyone was posting something, so that was like a really smart option to start with, because yes, you're going to get a lot of traction, a lot of like early views that way from people who come in. And for me, when I found your channel, I just I knew that one, there's obviously something here that you're diving into that is like not just for the show, like very, very daunting and overwhelming emotionally, but for the sort of space itself. Like you're launching yourself, like you said, you got 10,000 views overnight. That is such like a sort of culture shock for a lot of people. I spoke with this with my friend Iman Snow over time, and she got like, she was doing her channel for a little while for The Walking Dead, and she would get like a few hundred to 1,000 views on a video here and there, and that video she shot over 1 million overnight, and that was such a huge shock for her, because she started getting sort of inundated with the wider space of the internet, which can't be always very friendly. When you guys launched, even with that first half of that season, The Walking Dead, did you have that sort of same like culture shock of like learning the breadth of like comments and like navigating that sort of fan base that's like that you're now being exposed to?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to remember now how it was. I think at that point it was just like very fun to us, because like we didn't plan on anything, and then suddenly there's like so many people watching us, and so like I feel like it was fun. Like I can't remember, like there were comments, like mean whatever, but like nothing that would affect either one of us. It was just like, I mean, it's the internet. You kind of like expect some comments to be not as nice, especially like we are emotional people, so like we're gonna cry about like so many things that people are like, well, what are you crying about? I'm like, well, it's sad to me. If it's not sad to you, I don't want to tell you it's sad to me. But yeah, I mean, there were, in the beginning when we were like reading YouTube comments, like there were some people that were like relentless. I remember one guy that was like from Serbia. It was so very early on, like when The Walking Dead, like he would leave such long comments. You remember him? I can't remember now what he was saying, but like at some point I was like, he kept coming back, and I'm like, oh, here he is again. It felt like, like we know each other. I don't know. We never took it to heart, really. And now we're very, like, we don't read comments on YouTube that much, because like, do not spoil ourselves. And so like we're limited to the comments that we have on Patreon, and like people are not going to spoil us there, and like people are not going to be rude, they can disagree with us, but like no one is going to be like calling us names or something like that. But like I think we were able to like not really feel necessarily the negativity, or at least like if there was negativity, like we had too much fun doing it, so like we didn't really care about it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think we took it too much to heart. No. I don't know. I mean, I am glad that it is like that, because I can understand how it can affect very much a lot of people.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen to us.
I just think, especially just because it's the two of us, like there's like two of us. So I it's not like you're kind of alone reading these things.
It's true.
And like, even if I would believe something, let's say about myself, I'm not going to believe it about her, so like nothing is going to really stick that badly. So I don't know. I never really felt any of the negative comments. Yeah. So I think we skipped that.
That makes a lot of sense. But like I said, for that that episode specifically, it was very emotionally charged. Like, did you know, like, ahead of time, where you kind of mentally prepped, like this is going to be something probably really, really, emotionally draining for your first video?
Well, yeah, but also I don't think we thought at all.
I don't think we thought it,
I don't
honestly.
think we thought anything. We just woke up that day.
Yeah.
We're like, let's like watch the show like as we would usually watch. Oh, put a camera there and like.
Right.
We even filmed on laptop. Honestly, I don't
We
think
were filming on the lab.
first video is filmed on laptop. We were like, we didn't even know if we were gonna post it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and then you cried for half of the episode, and then we
died.
were like,
I died.
let's put this out there. You know, she cried.
Like we really weren't preparing. We weren't thinking like. I mean, we knew that this was gonna be, like
Big episode of the
tough
cliffhanger.
episode, but like we weren't thinking that in terms of like about the video. Like I was just concerned about what's gonna happen in The Walking Dead,
Right.
and so like, but there was like something just filming us.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I forgot about it while watching the episode, you know.
Right.
So like, didn't think much of it.
Yeah. The edit itself for the episode, I recall, was like pretty compact. It was like just the scene with the bat and like Glenn and everything, and then the final sort of sequence with the axe and stuff, and the end of the episode. I want to ask, like, who I guess who did in the beginning the editing for the recordings, and then is that still the case now?
Oh God, no,
No.
thank God. I was in the beginning, I was editing because like similar to you, I just got into editing like before when I was much younger because like I really liked the fan edits that people made. And so like I made them as well. And so like I knew how to edit.
Right.
And so it was like very easy for me to like take this video that we made and like cut it up and put a screen there. Like I knew how to do that. And so like I was in the beginning, it was just me editing.
Honestly, not just in the beginning. It took a while for me to start editing. I think when we didn't post that much, when we posted maybe one episode a week, like the most. I think the last thing that you edited completely by yourself was Vikings,
yeah.
which is not that long ago. You know, it was maybe
Yeah.
3 to 4 years ago that we filmed that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when you started editing as well. I know
I think when we decided to
the
film,
100th?
when we decided to film more, I think that was like, okay, but you can't edit by yourself. You know, I have to edit as well.
Yeah,
And
but like in the beginning, I was editing. I know I was editing the Vikings like crazy. I was like
Yeah.
I don't know how I did. I was editing every day. Like now I can't
Especially-
edit every
yeah,
day.
yeah, especially
I was like, let
last
me get it
season,
out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I was trying to like catch up before the new
Yeah,
season came out.
yeah.
Right.
But now we are like we split it. I edit like Monday, Wednesdays, Friday. She
I-
edits Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then like next week it's
Different, the other
she's
way around,
Monday,
yeah.
and like we
Right,
just do
right.
it like that. So like each one of us has like a day break
Yeah.
in between editing.
That's good. That's a good rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the work that goes into editing these things, and it can be like a big hill to get through when you have like a huge backlog of things to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you started though, was there like a learning curve for specifically editing reactions for like the YouTube space, like just sort of making sure to highlight the best moments, but also trying to navigate like the copyright blocks and claims that comes with it?
I think the copyright, it was basically like learning as we go. Like I think Walking Dead, if I remember correctly, was not that strict with
At all.
the copyright. Like I don't think that we got many copyright claims
At
in the
that point.
beginning, I think.
Yeah.
And like when we did, it was sort of like it wasn't weird because like I was at that point I think posting videos like of some edits that I was making. So like I understood the copyright and like blocking and copywriting, whatever.
Right.
And so I just think we came to some, I don't know if we were reading up on it and we were like, well, 10 seconds of like screen or whatever, it should be fine, or 20. I think in the beginning we were like 20 seconds. It was like fine for The Walking Dead and The Viking. It was basically like when we post the show for the first couple of episodes, we need to see how it goes, like how strict they are with that, and like if they need, like we should show less screen.
Right.
And basically like it was different for every show. Like some shows were very lenient and like nothing. We were getting like it was, we just accept copyrights. Like we don't, we like a lot of our videos are copyrighted and it's fine. Like as long as it doesn't get blocked,
Yeah.
Right.
So it was very much like learning as we go for the copyright, and for the what we leave in, it was like a mix of things. Okay, when we say something that like, let's say matters, or like we often just like we just like leave a scene that we feel is important while we're editing, even if we don't react to it or anything. But if I think it's a good scene or something like that, like we're gonna leave that in because like it's important bit. So I think like that's still how we edit.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, she taught me how to edit, so,
So she has
I'm just copying her work.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it goes. It's like I think anyone who gets involved in the space, you learn along the way, and you emulate, what works, and like just kind of chisel away at the pattern that works best for you. What was interesting at first, though, for the first sort of era of your channel, you were speaking primarily Serbian, and then you were adding subtitles for your dialogue. Were you adding those manually, like for each video, like for you were listening to it and translating it and like putting it in? How? I mean, how? At what point did you realize maybe it's easier to switch over to just trying to speak English?
I don't know. Those were the dark days, honestly. I remember, I don't even know, because like first I would post the video and then I would like add subtitles on YouTube. Like I didn't do it in the editor. I just did it on YouTube. And so I was like, I'm watching through it and I'm gonna like put subtitles. I really like now I have no idea like how that didn't like bore me to death. Like I can't remember now.
I remember
really.
it. I mean, I didn't edit at that point, but I remember it was the worst part of the editing for you. It was so horrible.
I hated it because like now I have to re-listen to us again.
Yeah.
And then like figure out a way that like how to translate it or whatever. Like that was fine, but like just like adding it was like a nuisance. Really.
Yeah, but honestly, I think I was a bigger problem there because at that point I didn't speak English. I mean, I understood everything because I grew up watching TV shows, but like I never talked to anybody in English.
Right.
So I think honestly, then we decided to somehow to stop with subtitles, and then I would, if I don't know some word or something, I would ask her like to tell me what something like that.
No, because like she knows English like perfectly. She can tell you anything, but like in the beginning, it was just because like she didn't, when you don't speak a language to someone necessarily, like you think it's like harder to speak it.
Right.
And like I had luck because me and my sister, like from a very young age, like we knew English and we never wanted our like family members in our house to understand us. So we would like speak English to each other when we were kids. And like that just, I mean, to this day, we mostly speak English.
Yeah, honestly, when I...
just like people get so weirded out. Like I'm speaking to someone on the phone and I go to English and they're like, who are you talking to? I'm like, well, my sister. I'm like, why are you talking to her in English?
Yeah, honestly, that was shocking to me because like I went to her house the first time and I met her sister and they just all of a sudden started talking in English. And I was like, what? What is happening?
I don't know. But like we just did it since we were kids. And so like I was very, like speaking English to me is the same as speaking Serbian. Like there's not different. Like sometimes I know
honestly,
English better.
I think she knows English better because she makes more mistakes while speaking Serbian than speaking English.
Do. I just like take some English words and make them like Serbian.
Right.
So like, I just like say them like that. But like when we did start, like her English got like so much better just because she was forced to speak it all the time.
I was like, okay, I have to. Let's say what I think. And I made a lot of mistakes.
I think when the 100, I think that's when we like skipped to not in the beginning of the 100. I remember translating that, but like somewhere later on in the 100, I think. But it took a while.
I know with Vikings that we already spoke English.
Yeah, because also at that same time, you also didn't have any much intro or outro discussions for the first like a handful of videos. You could just start recording and just jump into it and end when the episode ended. Was that also sort of like a hump to get over, just like learning how to sort of articulate yourselves in Serbian or in English for the post discussion?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it was like maybe getting maybe the confidence of being like, well, I want to say this. So like I should say this, I should say my opinion, whether you agree with me or not. And it was like, people do want to like hear that. I know like a lot of it is like they enter to see the reaction to a particular scene and then they leave and that's fine. Yeah. But like the people that follow us, like listen to at least that follow us on Patreon, like listen to the review and like want to know what we think about certain scenes. Because like for some shows, we might keep mostly quiet because like it's that type of a show. Like when you're just like watching and like, there's not much to, let's say, react to if like have a dialogue heavy or something like that. And then like after that, we have a lot of thoughts and like, I don't know, I think maybe in the beginning we were I don't know. Were we like trying?
I mean,
to,
we weren't even used to talking about it. It was just weird to us. I remember even in intro. Now we sometimes talk to in intro for 20 minutes.
Now there's no stopping.
But like I remember in the beginning, we just said our names and we were like, oh, let's play the episode.
I just think because like it was awkward to like speak to the camera, you know, like because like we were watching a show and like we would usually just like watch shows like that, and so like we didn't have to put much thought, and then we would speak to camera, like it didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
And so I think we were just like trying to get past it quickly or something.
But now we got past it.
I mean, now we're making up for everything that we never spoke about
in the beginning.
So yeah, like that first era was like The Walking Dead. You started with that, and once you finished that first half of season 7A, that first half of the season, you jumped into Sense8 and The 100, which were, you said, were shows that you just kind of loved going into the channel previously. Were those shows like, did you consider any sort of game plan at that point when The Walking Dead went on hiatus? Like, were you just like, these shows are next because we love these shows?
Yeah, I mean, that's true to this day. There is no game plan. Whatever we do, it is basically like, well, we want to watch this, and like some people are interested. Right. But like in the beginning, we didn't know like the audience or whatever. So like there was nothing, like people weren't commenting, oh, watch this, watch that or whatever. And so we were like, well, we will love these shows and we're going to watch them. And so like, it's going to be fun to react to them.
I mean, I think the first time that we actually listened to our comments is the Vikings. The Vikings. Because before that, like The Walking Dead, we watched by ourselves. Game of Thrones watched by ourselves. The 100, Sense8, all of those shows we already watched, and just like the new season came out, so we wanted to react to that new season. But I think the first show that we were like started because of our comments.
I don't know where they were commenting that, but yes, they asked for Vikings. We were like, well, sure, because like at that point when we finished all the shows that we previously watched, we were like, well, I don't know what we're gonna watch now, but like let's watch something. And like people were recommending Vikings, and so we just went with that. Right. And that was basically it. At some point, like people comment something, we're like, oh yeah, we wanted to get to that, like Breaking Bad, we wanted to watch that, like, and so that's how we would pick. And now it's we just like pick a few shows that people recommend and that like sound interesting to us, like sound like something that we would want to watch, and then like we put it on a poll and then like let them decide. But like in the beginning it was very much just, I mean, no plan. Just like whatever we feel like it in that moment.
Right. Well, The 100 ended up becoming a particularly infamous show for the channel, for your experience with the channel, which I hadn't seen the show, but I was able to keep track of sort of the zeitgeist of it because of your experience that you were sharing online with it through the channel. And I was able to kind of see where the winds were blowing for the fandom around it. And yeah, the show ended with, I think, you two being pretty disappointed with like where the show turned, and by the end of it you sort of bowed out from it. What was that experience like, though? Not just because obviously we all have shows that, you know, sort of disappoint us, we fall off of it, we fall out of love with it, sure, but like to do that on camera and like as sort of like a, you know, quote unquote like product that you're putting out to people, like what was that like, getting to that point where like this is no longer a show that we're satisfied with, but this is also something that we've logged and made like such a significant part of our lives here with like the audience?
I mean, it was like a slow death. Like at some point, like it was going, like it wasn't sudden, like it was going downhill. And because like we were pretty like involved with the fandom, we knew a lot of the things that were going on in the background. Like it wasn't just like, you know, we see this episode like it is with most shows that we watched, but like we knew what was going on behind the scenes and with the creators and everything. And like,
and we follow many people on Twitter and everything like that.
But like it sort of there was such a negative attitude towards fans of the show, and like specifically fans of like Ship, but like nothing there mattered. It was it just felt very, at some point, negative, and it felt like things were written to spite fans because of like things that they want and they like, and then now they're changing up the original story they had in mind just because like the creator feels annoyed by a certain fan group. And like that was basically confirmed by the writers that like left the show. You know, they were talking about how the creator, you know, for whatever reason wanted to spite the fans and he doesn't understand it. And you can feel that through the writing. You could have felt that. And we came to the point like before, like season 7 was the last. And I remember like before that, we were thinking about not watching the season at all.
Right.
Because like we knew we were going to be disappointed. And like neither one of us wants to film something that we don't like enjoy. Like I don't want to sit here and like hate watch a show. I don't think like anyone cares for that. If you're looking for reactions, I think you're looking for reactions because you like a certain show. And like there's nothing that we can bring to that space. Like if we don't enjoy it.
Especially, I think, with the shows that we love so much, because honestly, I think that was the show that at that point we'll love the most.
Yeah.
And we were involved the most. And we loved watching it, being in the fandom, having all that experience. And at the end, it turned out the way that. So it was very disappointing, honestly.
Yeah, and like we wanted to bow out before. Like we wanted to not even watch season 7 because like we knew it was going to be bad for us at least. But we were like, there were so many people following us that like felt the same towards the show. And so like we thought, okay, maybe like we can give them, like if they watch us, they can feel seen about like things that we're saying. And so like we made it until episode 13.
But
like we watched that.
Honestly, it was in some ways very hard to watch something. We don't do that. We don't like to do that. But like it was very hard. We always had to mentally prepare that we're not gonna like the next episode, that we're not gonna and all of that. So
but like we weren't trying to be like overly negative. Like we were trying to like find some silver linings. But like, you know, things were like, it was just not there. And so like we made it until, you know, a certain episode, and like there were 3 episodes until the end, and it was like,
there was no point anymore.
I mean, it was just so, it was like disrespectful to the characters. Like it was just like, it made no sense for the story. It made no sense for anything. And so like 3 episodes before the end, we just stopped. I mean, I have not seen those episodes till this day. Like I have no wish to see them.
But the scenes and things we saw...
we've seen, like, I'm happy that we didn't see them. Like it left a bitter taste in our mouths, especially just because it was the show that, like, I mean, we watched for so long. I started watching when season 2 was airing, and like I loved it, and like I devoted much of my time, you know, to it.
We decided to make a channel because of it. That's why.
Yeah, and like at the end it was disappointing, and like the reason why like we're always like talking about the 100 as the show that must not be mentioned, it is because like we loved it, loved it a lot at some point, and then like it ended up disappointing us. So like it is always a bitter thing.
Right. But you're right, though, you know, being able to sort of push forward for at least for that last season because you had the support in a way of the fans who felt similarly to you. It's a good way. It's a good way to engage with that, because otherwise, yes, you don't want to hate watch anything. I think a lot of channels are transparent about like, if it's something that's working for me, I want to sort of push it aside because I want to spend my time on it. But like you said, though, for Vikings was the first show that, similarly with your fans, you found it through their recommendations, and that was the first show that you started from like scratch, from like either like episode 1 for the channel. Was there a point, I guess, around that time, or maybe earlier, where you sort of like it dawned on you like, okay, we're getting real traction with this channel, with like, you know, the views, audience, that this is becoming something that we can actually like kind of focus and dedicate our time to, that people are responding to?
I don't know at what point like we gathered the audience for Vikings. I'm like trying to remember now. Like it like always was doing well.
I think immediately. Honestly, I think immediately we were satisfied with how many comments we got and how people were very interested, and they also had fun watching our reactions and always commenting and stuff like that. So I honestly think immediately.
Yeah, but like at that point, I still don't think we were thinking along the lines of like, oh, we can like make something out of this.
No.
Like we can, you know, dedicate a lot of our time to this and like make it not a career, but like make it something that you can live off on. I don't think we were thinking about like we finished the Vikings not thinking about that at all.
Yeah, you know? I honestly think that like that happened with Avatar: The Last Airbender, where we actually started thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah, so that was in the past like 2 to 3
years.
I think
3 years, something like that. Yeah.
But like for Vikings, no, we weren't still thinking like, even though it was getting traffic, it was getting like a lot of traffic. And I think like still Vikings is, I mean, along with The Walking Dead, but like Vikings is the thing that I think really like grew our channel. I think we got a lot of subscribers during that like time period of posting that. And then like, you know, things just continued. But like it gave us really a lot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you mentioned Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you started Avatar in the same like 1 month period as Breaking Bad and The Boys. So it was like really sort of like a new wave of fandoms coming at you, very, very like vocal fandoms, like people who are really big fans of the shows coming to find you through the channel. Because even today, like Avatar is like one of those anomalous shows that the fandom just migrates from channel to channel, which one's watching it, and like they'll find who's watching it next, and they'll stick to it. When you got to that point, did you start to see like a significant shift in like comments or like fandoms sort of coming in that you weren't particularly, you know, familiar with? People who are like, yes, like I love that you're watching Breaking Bad, Avatar, so on and so on, and like now they're starting to like inform you more about like their opinions on the show.
Yeah, I think especially with Avatar: The Last Airbender, because that's when, I mean, it is animated. It's not anime, but that's when we, after that, we didn't even know that it was not anime.
I thought it was an anime. I thought it was like made in Japan. I didn't know it was an American one. And I think that's what we said in the first episode. We're like, no.
And this is not an anime.
It's not. Like, really? I didn't know that.
And I think that's when our channel started growing.
Yeah,
with the audience, especially.
I think that brought in the audience of people who wanted us to watch more animated shows and animes. And like the Breaking Bad audience, I think it was like similar to like the Vikings audience, not necessarily similar, but like it didn't feel like a whole new world. I
think it just a little bit because like Breaking Bad was ended a long time ago, and with Vikings we waited seasons and watched while it was airing, and with
Breaking Bad,
Avatar: The Last Airbender is the same. It aired like long ago, and there were fans who watched every year new channels and stuff like that. I think that was different.
I think that was the most difference. And that was also kind of we always say this about Avatar, but it really is like the show that healed us.
Yeah.
Because like, we watched it like very close to the 100, which like left us, you know, disappointed in everything.
Yeah, we watched it few months after the 100, and honestly, in those few months, I didn't want to watch anything. I didn't want to watch literally anything. I was so disappointed with TV shows, with writers. I only thought negatively about everything, and then we played
Avatar, and it was such a joy. Like I really didn't know what to like expect coming into it, and it was such a joy. And I think this was the moment where the audience also like made a big difference, because like everyone in the comments were like very nice and supportive and like really loved Avatar, and just like wanted to talk about it with someone who was really enjoying the show. And like we had such a positive experience where like you could read every comment and it would be like such a lovely thing, you know, to read.
Right.
But I think that's most when it shifted. The comments, because like it was more, that's maybe when we read more comments about TV shows and their opinions about that TV shows that they were watching than just like our reactions, what we thought, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Similarly though, like you mentioned Avatar going into animated and anime, like then shortly after that, in the following year you found Attack on Titan, and that was like your first sort of foray into anime for the channel. And I guess like similarly for the content, like for the comments and like the audience, like did you have like a similar experience like with that audience? Because I know that audience can be like rabid and like, you know, for better or for worse, like it could be like tumultuous, could be like very positive, but yeah, what was your experience getting into that show? And also, were you familiar with, I guess, anime previously to starting it for the channel?
I watched when I was younger. Like we had this channel, and me and my sister like religiously watched Naruto. For because like in Serbia, I have no idea really. They had like the first season.
Right.
And then like for ages, they just like repeated it. There was like no second season. I feel like I watched the first season for 2 years. And then like it was second season and then like third season. So like and that was like my favorite thing growing up. Like Naruto was like my favorite anything. And there were a lot of other animes that I didn't necessarily like. My sister was watching Death Note, and I was like in passing seeing Death Note, but I wasn't really watching it. I was watching Shaman King, I think that's what it was called. There was like Auban Star Racers. Like there was like a number of animes I don't think are necessarily as popular, but like that was what was showing. And I was watching that because like my sister was also watching that. And so like it was not foreign to me. And like I really enjoyed them when I was younger. And like I heard about Attack on Titan because like, I mean, it was very famous. Like I don't think I literally, even if you're not into anime, you would have heard Attack on Titan. Like I remember, I feel like I was still in high school maybe, and like I read what the description was, and I thought, oh, that sounds fun, because like anything that seems like the world is ending seems fun to me, you know, like anytime you put any type of characters in a world is ending situation, I love. And like I thought that, and then I never played it, and like I forgot about it, and like people started really recommending it when we were watching Avatar, I think.
No, before that, because we put a poll.
We
thought we wanted to play Attack on Titan, but we were like, oh, we heard about Avatar as well. So it's like, let's put them in a poll. And actually, Avatar won.
Avatar won, but like we knew we were going to watch Attack on Titan afterwards. And like that was the first anime that we watched. And like, I mean,
what a way to
like,
start!
It truly was like downhill from there. Like someone I remember,
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Like they were so amazing, so many amazing. But like I remember someone saying when we posted a first episode, they were like, "Oh my god, like you're starting your first anime is gonna be Attack on Titan. Like everything else is gonna be so disappointing." And nothing, the things were not disappointing, but like Attack on Titan is like hard to top, and like that did open up some type of like a new
world to us. I think.
Like because like we watched so many shows like throughout our lives, we didn't really watch animes, and so like suddenly we had this whole other medium of like storytelling. And like I know that people have I don't know, even like when I wasn't watching animes, I never understood why people are like, oh, cartoons or something. It's just like a other way to tell a story. Like it always made no sense to me that people are like viewing anime as something like maybe for children or something.
Right.
I don't think that children should be watching Attack on Titan. Like, I don't think you know. There's something like I don't think children should be watching this.
Attack on Titan is definitely not for children.
That definitely opened up like a whole new world to us, and especially just because like I feel like a lot of live action shows that we wanted to watch, we've already watched it at some point in time. And like for animes, there's like so many of them.
I mean, even now when we pick shows to watch and when we put them on a poll, sometimes with live actions, we really don't know what to put on a poll, because most of the things that people suggest we already watched. Where with animes, it's very easy.
There's so many things.
Anything.
I mean, I had the same experience with my partner, Drew. She had the same disposition. She thought anime was like Pokemon, like it was like, you know, or like for kids, it was like something like really childish. And I convinced her. I was like, hey, just watch this like one show, like try this one show. I really like it. I think it's up your alley because it's very dark. So I showed her Attack on Titan, and yeah, she was like hooked immediately. She was like, oh my god, I didn't know you could show this stuff in as a cartoon. I didn't know this was like possible. And Attack on Titan is a great gateway show for anime because it's very grounded. It's very grounded, and it doesn't have a lot of like sort of other anime sensibilities with like the humor and like sort of the art style that other shows have. So like I think it's a good first show to start with for anyone really to get started. And like you said, now that you have it, you have like such a huge landscape of shows that you can like react to and learn about. And it's never ending. I mean, one of my favorite animes is Mob Psycho 100. And I was like, really pleasantly, like watching your reactions to that. And the thing is, though, I watched the first 2 seasons when they came out, which were like years ago. And then the 3rd season came out this past year. And I haven't watched it yet because I want to get, again, my partner into it so I can share that experience with her for that last season. So I'm holding off on your reactions to finish that once I finish the series myself.
Have you not gotten spoiled at all?
I've not, thankfully. And luckily it's not a fandom like Attack on Titan where like people are so eager to spoil things.
Yeah,
you know,
honestly,
like
you're gonna love it.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's Attack on Titan was the reason why we even stopped reading comments on YouTube because there was always some spoiler or something.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't like people when we were about to start. Like like all the comments were don't read comments.
Right.
Every comment was like that, and we're like, well, if so many people are telling us not to read comments, then like there's a reason. So like we never went into YouTube comments. Like we would go, or at least I would, like after it's been a few days that we posted it, then I would enter and like read the top you know, I don't know how many comments that have a lot of likes, and like, you know, those are gonna be safe. Like people are not gonna like things that are spoilerish, and so like I would read a few of that, but like, you know, it was enough for us to read the comments on Patreon and like see other people's opinions on that and everything. Like those are not gonna be, even though like we did get spoiled a bit on Attack on Titan for like a certain character death in season 3, but just because like someone, because like when we speculate that something is gonna happen, we say it as if it's fact. So like if we think this person is gonna die, we say, well, when he dies, even though like we don't know that he dies, but like we just say it if it's a fact because like we think it, and then someone like said, how do they know this and this is gonna die? And like they posted that like on Patreon, and we saw it and I was like, shit, you know. So like that was the only time that we like got spoiled because like people thought that we already were, like no one was trying to intentionally spoil us, but like because Attack on Titan, we got into the habit of not reading YouTube comments to not get spoiled if it's like a show that's finished. Like it's not finished, but like the manga exists and everything. Like for Better Call Saul, we could have read that because I mean no one knows. They know as much as us, you know. And so like
just depends on the show, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, like I know Iman, when she was in the midst of watching the show as it was airing, like she got spoiled on several things, people who are going out of their way to spoil her. And yes, it's like it becomes sort of like also a gateway of like, yes, navigating your own comments because you don't know who's going to try and drop something somewhere just to be, you know, a troll about it. And when you started covering more anime for the channel, like, again, like that was probably within the past year or so. Did you again, was it still that same feel of like, I just want to learn and discover all these things that look fun, or did you start sort of picking away at like what was recommended through commenters, you know, stuff like that? Did you do any research into like the shows that you started to pick?
We do little research. Like we don't, because like we like going in on shows blind, and like we have thankfully developed an audience of people that like I think share our taste. So like when a bunch of people who have been like commenting for a long time like recommend certain shows, like we pay attention to that. And like I think right now that's like mostly how we take our recommendations. And in the beginning, like with Attack on Titan, it was like, well, we heard about this and like people seem to like it, but like, you know, early on with developing that audience, like everyone on Attack on Titan comments was commenting about Vinland. So we were like, okay, we're gonna watch the Vinland Saga next. And like it was a natural progression where like we just pay attention to the things that people suggest that have been following us, like because they understand our taste. And like there's so many things where like people comment like Demon Slayer, and then like so many comments are like, no, like they're not gonna like that. And like I have no idea what Demon Slayer is, but like so many people,
but I know that like half of the
people are like this is not for them. And so like even though it's like popular and everything, they're not gonna like that. And like I don't know, maybe we will, but like there's so many other shows that like people want and think that we're gonna like, that we are just like going with it. Like for example, Mob Psycho, like you said, we just I remember we put it like last minute on the poll. We didn't think much of it, and like it won. It won, and like in the first, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 episodes or something like that.
Like 4 episodes.
It was like, well, I mean, I don't like, it's fine, but like, is it really up our alley? Like there were some weird moments and whatever.
I mean, it's completely different show than anything we have ever watched. And honestly, I think we were on episode 3 when we were like, okay, we're going to watch up at episode 5. And if you don't like it, we're not going to even post it on YouTube or something like that. And then it's, I think with episode 4, it's changed our opinions completely. And
now it's
we
like...
immediately started loving it.
Yeah, and like it's one of the shows that I'm so thankful for everyone for voting for it, because like it won by a slight margin.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it was such a joy to us.
Yeah.
Like it was such a happy thing. Like whenever we started watching Mob, it was like so happy, because like with Mob we were watching some depressing shows.
Yeah, we couldn't wait to watch Mob.
So we're like, oh, Mob. And like that was a really different show, like anime, from the ones that we watched, and it was so terrific. Like,
But
it was so great.
at the end of the day, it did have such a beautiful message about everything, which is the most important part.
Yeah.
It's just like in the beginning, for us, it looked a little different than what we were used to.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, Mob is like, again, one of my favorite shows, not just anime, but shows ever, just because of like, yes, how beautifully deep it gets about like, emotions and like acceptance and stuff like that. For the shows that you were talking about recommending, I'll just say off the top of my head, off the cusp, if your fans don't mind if they see this, like I do believe you'll like Demon Slayer. It doesn't have to be a priority, but like if you watch it online, I do think you'll like it. Same with.
I think at some point we just might get to
at some point we will.
Yeah. It's a big
at some
show.
Point,
So
like we might run out of things.
Maybe when the next season comes out or something like that.
Like at this point, I'm just interested why people think we're not gonna like it. Like at least I want to see why they think we're not gonna like it. I don't know. I'm very curious.
It was one of the most controversial TV shows in our comments. Honestly.
Yeah. Or like every time someone mentions it, people start arguing about it.
If I had to wager a guess, I think it's because the humor in it can be very abrasive. It can be very sort of in your face in a certain anime stylistic sense. So that might be like, again, a bit of an adjustment. That and I think My Hero Academia are other sort of gateway shows that people always sort of recommend for people to watch. It's a good one for people to jump into. But one thing I noticed throughout the whole channel is that you guys you don't really react to films or movies, because but that's usually becomes like a cornerstone of a lot of channels, is eventually evolve into movies and doing stuff like that. Is that something you deliberately choose not to do because it's a time sink, or do you just enjoy TV more than like films as a landscape? As
Funny
like a
you should
medium?
Mention this. Funny you should mention this. We have been talking about like starting reacting to movies for like such a long time. And we do gravitate more towards shows. I was thinking about this, like I don't watch movies that often. Because I think I prefer the medium of like longer storytelling, because like I like to get into it. Like I like to get deep with the characters. Like I like to feel connected to them, and like sometimes that's very hard to do in like 2 hours. And so like I don't know, I feel like I watch maybe 5 movies a year. I'm not a big movie watcher, and so like there are many like classics that I have not seen.
Honestly, I think before 2019, is that how it says?
Yeah, 2019.
2019. I think before that year, I haven't watched movies at all. I only watch romantic comedies and stuff like that, and I enjoy them, love them, but like nothing special,
Yeah.
I think that year I watched so many amazing films that's completely actually changed my opinions of films. So I'm very excited because like we have so many movies to watch, because we didn't. I'm actually so excited for us to start watching, reacting to movies.
I would like to get into it, just because like I think I haven't given them
I think
like
we haven't
the opportunity. Like there are many, like she mentioned 2019, and we watched, I think, was it Little Women then?
Little Women,
it was 1970. Like we went went to the movies that year, and like there was so many amazing movies that we watched that like really stuck with me.
And I watched also some classics, some of the more very popular ones, and I was shocked, honestly, with how much I liked them.
We watched Interstellar together, and we watched Inception. We went through the Nolan movies, Batman's. Yeah, we watched the Batmans, and like all of them were incredible. Like I really enjoyed them. But like I don't know. Like whenever I want to play something, I immediately go to shows. Like I immediately go to shows.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about it, and we were talking about like soon-ish starting to like react, but like I don't even know how we would like where to start from.
Yeah.
Like it's like, how do I make a poll? Like based on what do I make a poll? You know? Like I don't know where to start.
I
And
mean,
also
she wants to make me. She wants to start our reaction to movies with the Lord of the Rings first part, which is her favorite movie, and the movie that I have actually watched a few years back and didn't like
she knows
that
nothing.
much.
She literally remembers nothing. Like she remembers, like I was like explaining to her when I was talking about, well, remember that scene happened. She's like, no, I don't remember that person at all. Like I'm talking about Gandalf. Don't know who Gandalf is. What do you mean don't know who Gandalf is? Like she watched 2 movies.
But
Nothing.
I remember not liking them, and that's the thing. That's why I'm not so excited about watching Lord of the Rings, because like
I just
I
thought
remember
she watched it in a bad time. There's no way. And so like I wanna like, because like we mentioned Lord of the Rings often and how much she doesn't like it, and so like it's we mention often like when we react to movies, because like she hasn't watched Return of the King, you know,
right?
And I'm like, we need to watch that.
That's what ties
so
it
like
all
I'm
together.
trying to make that happen. Yeah, I'm trying to make that happen, but she's like 3 movies of 3.5 hours.
too much, too much.
So like we're trying to negotiate that. And also like I don't know how to edit that. Like that's so much to edit.
All right.
And so like what do we do with that then? But like I think we're gonna try this year.
Definitely.
I just don't know with
next
what.
few months, I guess.
Yeah. Let me know. I can recommend someone to help you with that if you need help, because I'm
great. I think we will. I think we will need help.
I actually just did edit of Lord of the Rings reaction for the channel's Heroes Reforged, because similarly, there's 3 men, and like one of them is like a huge Lord of the Rings fan. He's like expert on like the whole lore, the mythos in it, and so he was like the guide for the other 2 who watched it, and it wasn't really their cup of tea, you know, but they were able to watch it now as adults and like appreciate like the, you know, sort of cinematic experience about it, like the behind the scenes information. And Lord of the Rings I think is actually a great parable between TV and film, because it really, if you watch it in one sitting in one sort of thing, it does feel like a long show essentially.
Yeah,
it does feel like
it's such a huge story.
She doesn't say it like it's good.
It's a dedication. It takes a lot of dedication, like absolutely. But then I mean, truthfully though, that's in a lot of relationships, friendships, you know, it's like that's a good way to get into film. It's like this sort of like one for you, one for me type of thing. And like, you know, exposing that to each other is like a fun way to sort of like, like learn about like the breadth of films that you haven't been able to see. So I would look forward to that. I would really look forward to seeing you venture into more films.
Convince her. Because like I think usually like everything like our tastes align like perfectly.
Similar. Yeah, I agree.
Like I think the only thing that doesn't is Lord of the Rings. Like that is the only thing that doesn't align. Like somehow, like one of my most like favorite things, like I've watched it since I was a child. Like me and my sister, like yearly go through marathon.
I mean, yes,
like,
the 2 of them made me watch it, and I remember
and like the entire time, like she's sitting in the middle of us, and
God,
we're like,
that was
what
so hard.
What do you think about it?
That was so hard. Honestly, I remember just waiting for the first movie to end. I was so tired. I didn't want to watch it anymore, and it ended. And the 2 of them were so excited. They were like, "Let's play the second one. Let's play the second one." And I wanted to cry, honestly, at that point. And they played the second one, but I think I fell asleep for 3 to 4 times during that movie.
Again, all I can offer is that similarly, my partner, she is also not really into Lord of the Rings or like kind of high fantasy stuff like that. She did like Rings of Power, and she likes House of the Dragon. Those they were able to get to her. But we used to be part of a movie trivia show called the Movie Trivia Schmodown, where we would do like trivia competition stuff like that. And she was going to play someone one time, and so that person was an expert on Lord of the Rings, and so she's like, okay, I need to sit down and watch these films finally, otherwise like she might kick my ass on Lord of the Rings trivia. And so we sat down and watched it. I showed her the films, and like she was also very like trudging her way through the first 2 films, but I will say she managed to shed a small tear by the end of the 3rd film. So if you can make it that way, maybe it'll be a payoff.
If you don't, you're heartless. Like I don't. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like you bow to no one. Who doesn't cry? Who doesn't cry?
If you can make it there, I think it might be a good payoff. But again, it's up to you.
So like 9 hours in.
Exactly.
9 hours in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make her.
We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, just in that sense, you know, to wrap things up with your experience with the channel, going on to new, heights. Is there anything else you sort of aspire to, do more with the channel, in terms of even just like production wise, like new gear, look, anything there's anything like you guys kind of want to refine about the channel still?
We recently got a new camera, so like we did something.
That's new. That's
that's
okay.
new.
And it's very fun for us.
Yeah, now it's very fun. Now I keep like looking over at the camera, but like that is one of the things. We're very slow with like bringing new stuff. It like took us so long to get a mic, just because like both of us were like, I don't understand mics. Like, which one do I get? And so like when you start getting into that thinking, then you're like, well, I can't deal with that now. And at one point we were just like, well, let's just get any mic. Anything is better. And
It
so
was like that. And it was like that with camera as well.
yeah, it was like, well, sure, let's get a camera. Which one? And then the conversation ends there because we don't know,
Right.
And so like I think in the past year, I think like we both got in new laptops and we started editing a different program that's like Final Cut Pro that's like now easier for us to edit in.
Right. What were you editing before?
We were, because we had PCs, we were editing in Sunny Vegas.
Okay.
If you know it, because like that's where I started editing when I was in middle school. So we just like stuck with what we knew. That's what I'm talking about. We just like stick with what we knew for a while. And like we were thinking about, light. I don't know how you say it.
Lighting.
But like I can't like some light pointing to me as I'm watching something like doesn't seem natural. And like, so we can't do that because like that would be easier to like film at night and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't, because to us it's important for our experience to be good, like while watching a show. Like I need to be immersed in it and not like have lights pointing at me. So like those are the things that we're like, that we changed recently to like make it a bit better for our audience. Like we're still trying to figure out the camera, like how to like properly like the coloring and everything.
Right.
But like, we'll see. We usually like see as we go, like, well, should we change this? Is something missing or something like that? Like it takes us a bit to make progress because like we think about it too much and we can't like figure out exactly what's the right call. Right. And so we make no call. But yeah,
the only thing that we would maybe change is, let's say, if we put movies out there, maybe we would find editor for that and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I feel like movies would be a bit tougher to edit than like episodes.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot goes into it.
Yeah.
To close things out, I just want to ask, you've been doing this for 6 or 4 or 6 years now, and I want to ask, how do you feel you've grown, with the channel over the course of the channel, just over these last several years being in this space?
I think we just got a lot more comfortable with just like saying whatever we think about the show, and like we talk a lot now. Like we really like our intros and our outros are like longer than necessary, much longer than necessary. But I just think like a lot of things just haven't changed. I think like our approach to everything just like hasn't changed. It's like, it's a thing that we like doing. We have always watched shows, like even before we ever started filming, like the two of us would always just like start playing something and watch it for a bit. I think now it's just like, as time goes on and we have like kind of the same audience that we had for a bit, and like they recommend shows to us and like they know what we're about and like know our tastes and everything. It's a much more comfortable position to be in, like to make decisions. So, well, we're going to watch this, or if we want to watch this, even though no one, let's say, recommended it to us, like we can. Right. I just think it's like we are just in a very comfortable position where we like don't necessarily think too much about it, because like I think for us, at least for this to work, we still have to just like sit down as if we want to just like watch a show together. Yeah. And not necessarily like, it's not about a camera in front of us, but it's just about, oh, we're watching this show, so like let's watch it. I mean, of course it's different because like now we're gonna speak about it for like an hour afterwards, and like we would maybe talk a bit about it to each other. But I just think, I just think over the years we just gotten more comfortable with it. But like our approach to it, I think has always like remained the same. Right. As in like we're here to watch the show, and so like you can watch it with us, basically,
Yeah.
and like see what everyone thinks.
Yeah, tell us your opinions. and
Yeah.
stuff like
Right.
that.
And I always like to end these things reminding people that, yes, it has to be an outlet for yourself on a very personal level beyond just being like a business of a sort of sense. So beyond any monetary or financial value of the channel, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of it for yourself?
Rewarding aspect. I mean, I just really like sitting and watching shows with her. Like I mean, we are best friends, and a lot of the things that we initially bonded over has been our like love for the shows.
Right.
Yeah,
And but like this is also like thanks to the channel, like we have a lot more like freedom to go and do things that we really love. Like we get to travel a lot, and we get to like spend free time, doing what we like. And I think that has been like one of the biggest, like one of the best positive things of the channel is just it's given us like certain freedoms to like live life now as we would like want, and do things that we want, and like spend time how we want to. And so I think that has been like one of the most rewarding things. And also just like interacting with people and like reading so many comments and like so many
Different
like people
stories as
people
well.
are very generous with like people that follow us for a while. Like there's going to be some shows where they touch on like some subjects that
Personal
are like
subjects.
that are like very difficult, and then people would like tell their story with them dealing with certain situations that are like very tough. There are like situations that maybe we didn't deal with. And like reading that, you get much more personal with your audience, with people watching you. And like we recognize so many names of people who have been with us like for so long now. Like it's very nice that they give us like that information, like that they open up and like give us that. And like it always makes the experience of watching shows so much better because like it feels more important. Like you see a certain story, and it's the thing of like what shows should do. Like it should give someone comfort. It should give someone like the ability to be seen, and like seeing that it does give people that. It always makes me appreciate the show even more when like looking through the eyes of someone else who has like been in similar situations.
And who's been very affected by that show that you're watching.
Yeah, I think a lot of those things have been just incredibly rewarding because like it gives us also kind of a better understanding of like not just our audience, but like in general the people and the world. And like it gives us more ability to empathize with things. I just think that has been also like a thing that I didn't necessarily expect coming into the channel, and like doing that, just like being very moved by people's stories that like also follow us.
All right.
Yeah,
I would say that.
That's great. That's a perfect way to end the conversation on, truthfully, as the empathy machine. We do have a final questionnaire for a sort of inside the action studio Proust questionnaire, which is just 10 questions sort of down the line for each of you. Very simple questions, simple answers. So we'll just jump straight into it. The first question is, what is your favorite TV show?
I knew it. I knew it was going to be something like that. Like, please don't make me do that.
Does it have to be one, or it can be like 5, 6?
You could, I guess off the top of your head, just what comes to mind?
Okay. Like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Attack on Titan, Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Full Metal. And Vinland
Battlestar
Saga.
Galactica, Vinland Saga now. Like those are the ones that come. Like no one like this is a joke in our in our comments, and no one asked me my top favorite. I don't know how to answer that. But like those are the tops.
I could never pick one, honestly.
Yeah. Well, at least Battlestar made it in, so I'm happy.
Absolutely.
This might be easier or maybe a little trickier. What is your favorite film?
Lord of the Rings, but also I think The Breakfast Club. I really love The Breakfast Club.
God, I don't know.
Or at least
God,
is
I'm
there-
not sure. I
is
love
it-
The Breakfast Club as well.
yeah. Is there a
I love
favorite
The
one you
Breakfast
had
Club.
just this past year? You said you were watching a lot of movies this past year. Is there one that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I loved the Little Women. I loved Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I
that's
loved 1917. I loved many movies. Yeah,
Right.
that year.
Yeah, great.
I loved Before Sunrise, the trilogy. That was great.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
What stresses you out?
Everything.
Yeah.
What, like one specific thing?
Yeah.
School.
Oh my god, yes,
College.
but also like I just get stressed out by like random things. Like I get anxious about random things. Just like I have to make like if I have to call the bank, that stresses me out.
I agree,
Like if I have to
actually.
make
Yeah.
that stresses me out. Like I need to prepare mentally to do these things.
Yeah. or if I have to meet a lot of people at the same
yeah.
time, new people, that also makes me very anxious.
Yeah.
Okay. What helps you relax?
TV shows.
TV shows. Yeah. Just
Literally TV
a
shows,
good TV show.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, all TV shows.
What medium outside of TV and film do you enjoy the most?
Books.
Books.
Yes, books. I mean, music as well.
Yeah. But like for like storytelling,
Books.
I think that's like
I honestly just got into the books last year,
And I
I
just
wasn't
got-
reading them.
I
ever
was reading
before.
everything. I was literally reading everything, and like Milena was, reading here and there, and now Milena is reading everything, and I'm like trying to finish one book.
Yeah, I'm reading at least 5 books
She
every
is like
month.
she is like
That's so
making
much
up for,
me,
for like
yeah.
spent time.
It's good.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure of anything?
Guilty pleasure. I don't know if I'll feel
Those
guilty.
those are
Well,
hard
like
questions.
it's like the typical like candy, but like,
Yeah.
do I feel guilty? Oh no, I have reality shows.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like and like Love Island,
Island.
Love is Blind, anything like that is my perfect. I just like sit down if I
Escape.
need to relax and
Yeah.
like turn off my brain. Great,
Yeah.
like I love it.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah. The Greg Albert from The Real Rejects said the same thing. Love is blind. It's a guilty pleasure. So, yeah.
Not just me.
I need to check it out.
Love them.
What profession would you like to try besides reacting?
Well,
We are studying
we are studying for software engineering.
Yeah.
Both of us are getting degrees in that. But like what I would also, besides that, really like want to kind of get into is editing as well, but like more seriously, like not like necessarily maybe YouTube. I would like to find something because like I always enjoyed editing as well, and so like I would like to maybe branch out a bit in that as well. I would like to try that.
Yeah, something maybe behind the scenes in the movies and stuff
Oh my
like
God,
that.
that'd be
Maybe the
perfect.
directing, that would be great. I mean, I don't know much about that.
Yeah, but that's just
That'd be
like
fun, yeah.
that just
That's
sounds
just
like
something
something that
like I would enjoy,
very
honestly.
good.
What show do you think gave you your best reaction experience?
Attack on
Attack
Titan,
on
Avatar?
Titan.
Yeah, Attack on Titan maybe. Because like there was like so many shocking things were happening.
Also,
So many
Vikings, in
shocking.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Vikings as well.
Yeah, I think they like stand out as like different.
I know which one wasn't my favorite. That's Breaking Bad. Even though that's one of my favorite shows, but like I don't think I have enjoyed that much reading comments. in
I
Breaking Bad.
like all our
That was-
reviews is arguing with comments.
Honestly, that was so exhausting to me to read all the negative comments about our opinions, stuff like we said and stuff like that.
And it was like, you're wrong. I know you're wrong. Like, what am I arguing with you? You're simply wrong. Like,
What film or show do you, I guess show particularly, do you wish you could erase from your memory and react to for the first time?
React to for
Dark.
the first time. React to for okay.
Yeah, react. Because
Is it like the show
that we
did-
already did react to, or that like we watched but didn't react to that we could react to?
I would say something that you didn't get it to react to at all for a first time.
I think Dark, because I watched Dark. She didn't watch Dark, and everyone wanted us to watch Dark, and I do think that would have been great for reactions. Also, Leftovers, I think.
Yeah,
We
I wanted to
loved
say Leftovers as well. Or Lost. I
Lost.
watched Lost and I wish we had reactions for that. Especially first 3, 4 or 4 seasons, something like that.
Yeah, and those are the shows that we mention often.
Yeah.
That's great. And I guess for the final question, what advice would you give to your past self when you started the channel? If you can go back in time and speak to yourself then.
Get a better camera and a mic,
And mic
faster.
immediately.
And like get a new laptop. It's gonna make exporting faster.
Much faster.
Much
And sometimes
faster.
even 5 to 10 times faster.
And yes, I think that's it. I think kind of the rest of the things, it's still how we operate. So like I can't give advice on that because we still operate kind of in the same way. I just think like get things faster and don't like think too much like, oh well, what is the best thing to get? Just like get at least something. Like start from somewhere and then like it's gonna be easier to like switch it out, like get a better mic or whatever. But like start from somewhere. I would say that because like it took us such a long time to get anything good.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you both for joining me today. Again, it was an honor truly to have you both on to chat about your experience with this, because as it is with all these channels, I started as a fan, and I'm happy to speak to you as a fan first and a sort of colleague second, I guess. But yeah, we're happy to have you both here. Is there anywhere we could find you? I know you said you're not really on Twitter as much, like, but is there any social media handles you want to sort of plug besides maybe just the YouTube channel?
I mean, we just keep our Instagrams to ourselves. We have like our separate Twitters that we also keep to ourselves for like some sanity. But like, there's our YouTube and there's our Twitter. Like we have TV time if anyone wants to see like
what we like,
shows we watch. But like we have that, and the rest we just really keep to ourselves and like our circle of friends.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you're listening to this on the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. If you find this in the newsletter, please share, spread the good word, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.